ago, we looked at the story, and I preached a sermon on one of the, if not the, most popular prophet in the Bible, a guy named Elijah. And as we talked a little bit about a couple weeks ago, Elijah came into being, came onto the scene in about 800 BC. This would be a couple of generations after the two great Israeli kings, King David and King Solomon, had brought Israel to being as close to a world power as she would ever be, or political power. But because of both of these kings' inability to follow God's moral commandments and falling prey to their human urges, they left the country in shambles. They left the country broken in two. And subsequently, there were all sorts of kings that followed in both the south and the north who weren't as strong, who kept looking to bed with, as it were, other kings and other queens from other lands, and as a part would bring worship of their Baal and false gods, their Baal and false idols into Israel. And Elijah was called to bring an end to Baal worship in Israel, and we talked a little bit a couple weeks ago about how in one of Elijah's most spectacular victories, he undid the 900 Baal priests. He showed them to be false and Baal, and he also destroyed them by himself, basically with one hand. Elijah is sort of a cross between John the Baptist and Paul Bunyan. He's a fantastic character. And then we looked at the story a couple weeks ago, how after this huge victory, Elijah was completely burned out, he was depressed, he just wanted to die, and God then led him to a cave up on Mount Sinai, and there God came to him in the sound of sheer silence. And it was so intense, and it was so profound, that Elijah had to wrap his head with his mantle so that he wouldn't, explode, because it was so powerful. It's a statement to us all about how powerful God can be when we let ourselves get really silent. And in that sheer silence, God gave Elijah his next direction, that he was to go and anoint Elisha, the son of Shaphat of Abel Maholah, and to be his successor. And that's how our story 2 weeks ago ended. Well, we might ask ourselves what happened after that. Well, we're told that in 1 Kings 20, 1 Kings 20 and 21, that Elijah then goes, henceforth, straightforward, to find Elisha. And he finds Elisha in his father's field. He is plowing with a yoke of 12 oxen. That is huge. It tells us that Elisha comes from a very wealthy family. And Elijah as he passes by, puts the mantle that was on his head previously when God passed by, he puts it over Elisha's shoulders as a way of symbolizing that you now are taking on the mantle of head prophet of God. But it's also, I think, a way of telling us that this cloak that's now in you, with all this divine power, is now placed on Elisha's shoulders. That's a big part of what being God's prophet is all about, having that kind of power. And Elisha does not hesitate. He says, yes, I will do that. So we're told that he quickly goes home to say goodbye to his parents. Then he comes back to where he was plowing, and all those 12 oxen he slaughters, and with the wood of the plow and all of his farming implements, he creates a fire. And on that fire, he boils the meat, and then gives the meat away to the village. Now this tells us that Elisha is very generous, but also he has decided, as he is taking this new leg of the journey, that he is not going to bring any of his stuff with him. He's letting it all go, and he will now depend on Elijah and God alone. Now, we're told too then that Elisha and Elijah travel together, and Elijah mentors Elisha for 7 or 8 years. We're not really told what happens. In fact, the next time Elisha comes on the scene is on the day that Elijah is going to be taken from earth and be taken up to heaven. And like everything in Elijah's life, it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be with this fiery chariot that was alluded to wonderfully, was told wonderfully in the spiritual that Cecil just played. And it's something that is, yes, going to be spectacular, but not unexpected. And we're also told that we're going to find out in this story how Elisha wants to make the most of every last moment that he has with his mentor, so that he will know what to do when it's his turn to call all the shots, or should I say, call all of God's shots. So I would like to once again put on its feet the story that comes to us from 2 Kings verse 2, verses 1 through 12. Because, of course, all of Scripture was originally shared orally. On the day that Elijah was to be taken up in a whirlwind unto heaven, Elijah and Elisha went from Gilgal. Elijah told Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has commanded me to go as far as Bethel." And Elisha said, "As the Lord lives, and as I live also, I will never leave you." So the two of them traveled to Bethel. When they got there, the company of priests from Bethel came to Elisha and said, "Did you know that today the Lord is going to take your master from you?" And Elisha said, "Yes, I know. Keep silent." Then Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has told me to go to Jericho." And Elisha said, "As the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I shall never leave you." So the two of them traveled to Jericho. When they got to Jericho, the company of priests of Jericho came near and said, "Did you know that the Lord today is going to take your master from you?" And Elisha said, "Yes, I know. Keep silent." Then Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has commanded me to go to the Jordan." And Elisha said, "As God lives, as the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So the two of them went on. A company of 50 priests also came, but stood at some distance, while the two of them were standing at the Jordan. Elijah took off the mantle that he was wearing, and he rolled it up, and he struck the water, and it parted from one side and the other. And Elijah and Elisha crossed over on dry land. When they had crossed over, Elijah said to Elisha, "Is there anything I can do for you before I take it from you?" And Elisha said, "Please, let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." And Elijah said, "What you ask is a very hard thing. Yet, if you see me as I'm taken from you, then it shall be granted. If not, then not." As they continued walking and talking, a fiery chariot and fiery horsemen came down and came between them, and Elijah ascended in it off to heaven in a whirlwind. And Elisha looked, and he cried out, "Father, Father, the fiery chariot of Israel and its horsemen," until he could see it no more. And then he grabbed his clothes and tore them in two. Elisha then picked up the mantle of Elijah that had fallen next to him, and he went to the bank of the Jordan. And he took this mantle that was Elijah's that had fallen, and he struck the water, and it parted to the one side and to the other. So Elijah went through. This is the good news of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. You know, if we look at this story, and pray for me that these things will stay in my ears. If we look at this story, the first part of the story, one thing that we'll notice is that there is a very repetitive quality as Elijah and Elisha are coming. And there's kind of the same thing they say each time. Each time they stop, Elijah says, stay here because I've been called to the next place. And Elisha says, as the Lord lives and you live also, I will never leave you. Then they go to the next place, and he says, stay here. And this is the same thing, as the Lord lives, I will never leave you, on and on and on. It sort of reminds me of the way a fairy tale is often set out. You know, sort of like, little pig, let me come in. Not my hair, my chin, chin, chin. And this kind of playful repetition kind of tells us that this story is maybe not a newspaper story, that it's rather fanciful, and that the story that we're hearing today may not have actually happened the way that we're told. It may not be true with a small t, but it's filled with a lot of truth with a capital T. And if we're going to be insistent, no, this has to be real, this has to be the way it really happened, then we're saying, well, God was sure that Elijah had to stay here. No, that God changed God's mind, then he had to stay here. No, God changed God's mind and said to stay here. Boy, does God change God's mind a lot. More proof that God must be a woman. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. These things, and so I say them. But anyway, what's interesting about this repetition, that it not only tells us that this may not have been a real story, a real factual happening, but there's something really interesting that it tells us about Elisha as he's going on. And he insists on coming with Elijah wherever Elijah goes. That there was nothing that would keep him from going with his mentor. That he's absolutely committed to him, to the project that he's been called on. Because it's a super important project, making God and God's goodness and God's grace and God's love known in this world where it was being forgotten. But also, I'm guessing it's super important because Elisha has left everything else in his life behind. He has to make this project work because he can't fall on his face. So there's this intensity to what Elisha is doing. And then there's this other repetition where the priests come each time and say, oh, do you know that today your master's going to go away? And he says, yes, I know. Keep silent. Why does Elisha keep saying, keep silent? Is it because he's really in denial that his dear mentor, the person he's depended on for 7 or 8 years, is leaving? Perhaps. It might also be that he knows. He's been told by Elijah over and over again that it was in the sound of sheer silence that God came most profoundly to him. And he knows that this must be the quality of experience that must happen. If God is going to come again and God is going to take Elijah away, we need to maintain an environment of silence. That is just how much intent he is on making sure that God and the way that God works will work well. He's very committed to Elijah. He's very committed to God and God's ways. And so what happens once they miraculously cross the Jordan River? The sign that this mantle that Elijah is wearing is filled with God's power. It's not the first time that God has parted waters, but that's always a sign of just how powerful God is. We get a break in what this repetition is. As Elijah, instead of saying, stay here and going somewhere else, he finally says, what may I do for you now that before I leave? And what does Elisha say? Please let me inherit a double portion of your spirit. Elisha could have asked for anything from Elijah. Elijah is God's right-hand man. Elisha could have said, you know, you are so strong and dominating, and I'm going to be by myself, and I'm much smaller. Let me be big and strong like you are, so I can impress people the way that you have. Or you could have said, you know, I'm going to be out here with no food, no clothing, no money, no help from you. Can you give me a little something before I leave? No. The thing that he asks for is a double portion of God's Spirit. And we're told, or we come to realize as we continue to read about Elisha's life in the book of 2 Kings, that Elisha, in fact, performs twice as many miracles as Elijah does. Now, these stories of Elijah and Elisha are quite fanciful. They're about very miraculous things happening that we can say, oh, that could never happen, as we've talked about before. But they are both filled with a lot of capital T truth. And the number one thing that the stories of both these men want to emphasize is just how real God's Spirit is and how incredibly powerful God's Spirit is. And that's really a remarkable, if not crazy claim when you think about it, because God's Spirit is invisible. It's something that you can't see, smell, taste, or touch. It's not like the other kinds of things that we might want to put our faith in, put our dependence on, things that we can actually hold, like money, or like our home, or like even our dreams for what we our written out dreams for what we want for our life. Any number of things that our senses tell us are the things that we need to hold on to. Elijah and Elisha, and so much of the Bible tell us, are false and vain gods. If that's where we are putting our dependence, they are the Baals. What Elisha wants is not just a little bit of God's Spirit, but a lot. A lot of this very powerful thing. God wants to double it. I think what he's asking for is let me be the recipient of the first half your hour. I'll have double, thank you. And this is a remarkable thing for us today. Because all of us today, as followers of Jesus, all of us are recipients of the Spirit of Jesus, that is the Spirit of God that was living in Jesus. This powerful Spirit, that is what is available to each and every one of us, especially as we call it out. In fact, a double portion of that Spirit is available to each and every one of us as we call it out and as we let everything else behind. It's a very, very powerful thing that we have at our disposal. And yet one of the tricky things, or the amazing things as you look at it, is that when we invite a double portion of God's Spirit into our being, we also invite a double portion of God's creative imagination. God always thinks and acts way beyond what our human brains can. And we'll start to see the world in a much different, maybe not the way we expected, but actually more magnificent place. For example, the fact that Elijah says, you will be granted that Spirit. If you'll know that you've been granted it, if you see me going away. And indeed, Elisha does see God taking Elijah in a fiery chariot. And if you were a listener of this story in ancient Israel, you might have been a little perplexed, maybe a little depressed that it was a fiery chariot that takes Elijah away, because Israel at that time was so wanted to once again be a great military power. And chariots were the ultimate example of military power. They were the tanks of its time. And that's what the Israelites would have loved to have seen, God bring them all sorts of actual chariots. But instead, what God brings is a chariot from heaven. A reminder to Elisha and to the people that it's God's government, and it's God's power, and it's God's kingship of that time that is actually ruling over them, and is where they should put their ultimate allegiance. Now, that speaks at all to you about something that happened at the National Mall today. But I think what's even beyond that is just interesting that Elisha is coming to see the world through God's eyes. And it's more spectacular and more creative than he ever before imagined, because he has that double portion of the Spirit. And I know from my own experience what that can be like. When I was, and I alluded to this a little before, and I'm just going to allude a little bit to it now, when I was struggling with my call to ministry, and I really realized how I was going to have to leave my career as an entertainer behind, and I was very nervous about what I was going to do, especially because I felt like I had no leadership experience in the church. I really hadn't, I'd been on teams, and I'd been a stand-up God, really from the bottom of my gut, God, if you want me to be a pastor, give me a leadership experience. And in my human brain, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get a phone call, Jane, we'd like you to chair a committee of the church. Jane, would you teach Sunday school? Jane, would you lead the craft table at BBS? Something that would be typical leadership in the church experience. And out of the blue one day, I got a call from a girlfriend of mine who said, Jane, I was wondering if you would like to direct a production of the Real Life Brady Bunch in Sydney, Australia. This is a play where they would take adult actors, not the Brady Bunch, adult actors, and dress them up like Brady's and act, do something, do actual episodes. And it had been a big hit in the United States, and I was going to Australia, and their agents wouldn't let them go. They were the directors, and I said, I've never directed before. Oh, that's okay. You like the Brady Bunch the way we do. I was horrified. Oh my gosh. But then I realized this is God's answer to my prayer. It is so far beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. It was absolutely the perfect thing for me. And I got to leave my career where I'd always felt really stalled and never gotten much notoriety. On top of my game in Australia, I was a big deal in Australia. I could not believe it. And in a way, it was like, yeah, that's just the way God answers prayers. But really, it was more about God, I think, saying to me, Jane, never underestimate what I can do through you if you open yourself up to me. Never underestimate. So that is what I invite each and every one of you to claim today, is that invitation to ask for double portion of God's Spirit, to see what happens as you do that. You really open yourself, let everything go, and trust that crazy, powerful, invisible power. Whether it's with what's going on in the world, God, what can I do? It feels so over my head. Ask for a double portion of Spirit. Ask a double portion of Spirit on the problem. See how God draws you in a way that you never before expected and uses you in ways that you never before thought you could be used. Or if it's an issue with your family, pray a double portion of God's Spirit on your problem, on yourself, or with your own issue, your own addiction, whatever it might be. A double portion of God's Spirit. And see how that starts to change things, starts to give you insight, brings angels in from the woodwork that you never before thought possible. When it comes to what's going on in our denomination, pray a double portion of God's Spirit on our church and on ourselves as parts of that church. And see how God's imagination starts to make a denomination that is truly about justice and love and radical welcome for all being come into being in ways that we never before thought possible. And last but certainly not least, as we proceed in this summer of creativity and see where God is calling our congregation to go next and who to be with one another, more than anything else, more than our research, more than our field trips, they're all important, more than all the books. It's all so important. The most important thing is that we bring a double portion of God's Spirit into what we're doing. And let us see what will happen as we do. So we really commit ourselves. And that's something we all can do, whether or not we're participating in any other part of this project. That is something we all can do. That is why, after communion today, I'm going to invite everyone to receive these prayer beads. They're red, because they stand for the Holy Spirit. And these are prayer beads that you can have when you pray at home. But because of the spirit of Elisha, you're each going to receive 2 of these prayer beads to remind you that it's our time now to pray a double portion of God's Spirit on our church and on whatever else God is calling us to pray. And if you're able this coming Saturday, I invite you to come at 8:30 this Saturday morning, and we're going to prayer walk a double portion of God's Spirit upon our neighborhood just to see what will happen. I want to give us just a minute now to invite that double portion of Spirit into our hearts.